The Crownless Valley, a chronicle told 20 winters after the crown fell. Open quote, there was a time when the valley had no name. Close quote. Only snow. Only silence. Only the dead walking beneath broken walls of stone. And at the center of it all, the Iron Crown. A relic that promised power. A relic that demanded obedience. A relic that nearly ended everything. But the crown was broken, and the dead fell silent. When the crown shattered, the change did not come all at once. First, the wolves stopped howling. Then the wind itself seemed to hesitate. And then, one by one, the frozen dead collapsed into the snow, as if some unseen hand had released them at last. The valley was saved, but not without cost. War leader Grask lived, though death walked close beside him for many days. Many hunters of Stonefang Hold did not return. Many defenders of Frost Hollow never rose again. Every fire in the valley burned that winter for the lost. Yet one warrior did not leave when the battle ended. The barbarians stayed, at first to help rebuild, then to hunt, then because the valley had begun to feel like home. And in time, it truly became one. From bonds forged beside shared watchfires and winter hunts came children. Children who ran the ridgelines before they could read maps. Children who spoke both human words and orc hunting calls. Children who would grow into something the valley had never seen before. Guardians born of two peoples. The winters that followed were hard. Food ran thin. Avalanches closed passes. Predators returned to forgotten trails. So humans and orcs hunted together, at first in silence, then in cooperation, then in trust. And one winter, beside the frozen river, Elder Marta and Warleader Grask met beneath a sky the color of steel. They planted 12 spears upright in the ice, one for each warrior lost to the crown. They swore an oath. No spear would be pulled free unless their peoples shed each other's blood again. The spears remain there still, frozen, unmoved, unbroken. Years passed. Children played together where once patrols had watched each other across the snow. Caravans returned. Shrines were raised. Hunters crossed borders without escorts. And the valley began to change its shape, not in stone, but in memory. People stopped saying Frost Hollow, stopped saying Stonefang Hold. They simply said, the valley. But peace in the high mountains is never permanent. Far above the glacier ridges, something ancient stirred. A frost giant, drawn by whispers older than language, drawn by something still lingering in the ruins of Blackspire. The shattered remnants of the Iron Crown still clung to the altar stone, and though broken, they still spoke. The giant listened, and goblins answered its call. A wandering horde gathered beneath its shadow. Among them marched red hats, small killers with long memories and sharp knives. The valley faced darkness again. The goblins came in winter. Trails vanished. Smoke rose from hunting camps. Caravans disappeared in the passes. And once again, humans and orcs stood together. Not as neighbors, not as allies, but as one people defending one home. Still, it was not enough. Until help arrived from beyond the mountains. The merchant returned, and with him, the fighter who had stood against the crown in the first battle. Caravan guards marched beside them, steel met steel in the snowfields, and the goblin advance broke. But the frost giant still waited, inside Blackspire. The final battle was fought where the crown had once ruled. Snow fell so heavily that day, witnesses later swore the sky itself wished not to see what followed. The frost giant crushed warriors beneath its hands. Red hats carved through shield lines like wolves through sheep. And deep inside the shattered altar chamber, Grask did something no war leader had ever attempted. He called to a spirit, not of crown, not of relic, but of loyalty remembered. The spirit of the warhorse returned. Spectral hooves thundered across broken stone. The giant staggered, and beside that spirit stood the barbarian, wielding Grask's ancestral axe. Together, they brought the giant down. The goblin horde fled, and the valley survived its second winter of darkness. No child who lived through that year ever forgot it. After the battle, the axe had changed. Its edge did not dull. Its haft did not freeze. And sometimes, when lifted in battle, it sounded like distant hooves across snow. The shamans gave it a name, Hoofbreaker. Years passed again. Mixed patrols walked the ridgelines. Humans and orcs guarded the same passes. They carried a single symbol, 2 crossed spears, over a broken crown. They were called the Crown Wardens. Among them walked the children of the barbarian. 16 winters old, 17, 18 old enough to hunt, old enough to defend, old enough to inherit what had been saved for them. Travelers began whispering something new. The valley no longer needs heroes from outside. In her final winter council, Elder Marta spoke only once. Open quote, "The dead taught us what fear makes of neighbors. The giant taught us what memory makes of enemies. Do not forget what survival made of us." Close quote. No one argued, not even the youngest hunters. And now, 20 winters after the crown fell, cartographers no longer mark this place as cursed. They no longer avoid it. They write a new name instead: the Crownless Valley, a place where the dead once ruled and did not return. Yet even now, in the ruins of Blackspire, when the wind moves through broken stone, it sometimes sounds like iron singing.